Welcome and welcome back, everybody. Tabletop Toki here, and in today's live stream, we will be doing a solo preview of Casinopolis, which is the newest Opolis game in ButtonShy's line of solo/cooperative tile-laying games. So, I'm going to do a very brief overview since I know a lot of y'all might be familiar with this line of games, but during the playthrough, I will go over more in depth, kind of step-by-step, what the rules are of the game, scoring, etc. And then of course, after the playthrough, I'll give some of my first impressions of Casinopolis. So to start first setup, like with many Opolis games, you're going to shuffle all 18 cards and you're going to select 3 to place face up as objectives. One difference between Casinopolis and some of the previous iterations are how the point scoring will work. Typically, you'll get a number of points per each card, but in Casinopolis, you have your first, second, and third slot, which will be worth 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points per scoring. So that's a little bit different from some of the other iterations of the game. You'll then draw a card for your starting casino block, and then you'll draw 3 cards to form your hand in a solo game. On each turn, essentially what we're doing is we are going to overlay the routes. We can rotate cards up to 180 or 180 degrees exactly, but never 90 degrees because they always have to line up. We're going to try to fulfill our 3 scoring objectives while also making the largest group of each type of casino. We have red, yellow, and blue. And while minimizing the number of different roads that we have in our overall casino landscape. In addition to that, one of the new things that you might notice Casinopolis has are these slot icons. So we have 6 different icons, 3 fruit and 3 luck icons. What we're essentially trying to do is get them lined up on the same stretch of road. And if we have 3 or more, that forms a jackpot and we get 1 point per each at the end. So those are some of the extra considerations. We're just going to jump in here. For today's playthrough, we have our 3 objectives. In slot 1, we have fruit loops. So we are going to get 1 point per fruit icon in each road that forms a complete loop. For our second slot, Lucky Charms, we'll get 2 points for each casino, which is every group of same colored buildings with at least 4 luck icons. So we have fruits and luck. And then we also have in our third slot, hot streaks. So we get 3 points for each row or column with at least 3 blocks, which are each rectangle on the card, and no resorts, which are these blocks here that do not have a luck icon nor a road going through them. So we're just gonna get started. I do like the idea of adding more fruit and building out this yellow group here. And then we can also maybe minimize the number of resorts that we have. So that is one option. We could also do something like that since we would still have fruit. I'm not sure if we want to go for a jackpot with the cherries, so we'll see. But I also think it's good for us to get luck icons in our casino. However, these are all fruit. So maybe we're going to forego looking at the jackpot just yet. So once we play a card, we're going to draw another one to our hand and see what we want to do. I do like the idea of making like one long loop. Some of the cards will refer to the strip, which is your longest stretch of road. But we don't have any in this particular playthrough that we're going to be looking at for that. Let's see. I'm just going to continue on here because I want to give us an idea of what the game looks like. And granted, I will say I am nowhere near one of the most adept Opolis players or tiling players. I'm wondering if we should try to continue to build out this yellow casino, but I'm not really, or we could do this, which would then bring it down and around potentially for that fruit loops. And start working on our blue casino over here. All right. Even when I'm not streaming and I'm putting my full attention in, I got to play this twice yesterday to prepare for stream. And I was very far off of the scoring objective the first time, and the second time I think I was 2 points short. So in order to win, you're going to add up the top numbers in each of your scoring objectives for the game, similar to other opolis games. Okay, we could continue with blue down here as well. I found that one of the things that I've noticed for sure is that I'm pretty bad at, oh, we could do, yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty bad at getting the jackpots, which I think is a cool mechanic that seems really fun and very thematic, but it's definitely difficult to do. I could get a jackpot here, and this also fulfills or helps us towards hot streaks, which is pretty cool. So maybe we'll do that, but I'm also thinking if I lay this here and do this, oh no, because the blue is underneath by 1, so that doesn't quite work. So maybe let's try something like that. We're gonna draw our next card. And let's see what we want to do. We definitely, I think we want this to be our strip, and we want that to be a loop if possible. I also want to get rid of some of this roadage in here because that's just not great for scoring, because we get -1 point for each different road that we have. So maybe we could at least connect them and get a larger block here, potentially, or we could do something like that to continue the block and then connect these two together, although I'm not really sure how effective that's going to be. Let's see, what else can we work on? We need more yellow. We need to bring this down at some point. So maybe we will use this one here so we can continue the road through. And that also gets us all of our, instead of the resorts, we're working towards hot streaks. So we'll try that out and see how it goes. We definitely want to continue to bring this down. We could bring it over eventually here or something if we connect the right icons. There's definitely a lot going on with just adding those extra slot icons on each card. We did get 1 jackpot here as long as we don't cover it up, so that's good. I should probably pay a little bit more attention to what's happening with some of our roads. Oh, right, because we need to connect all the way over here, which is pretty tricky. I might have bit off more than I can chew with making a loop there. So maybe we just need to continue to work our way down. And I do already have resorts here and here, so I think that adding this will not hurt too much, hopefully. Famous last words. Okay, and we could do something like this and start connecting inward, but we need to be careful with that too, because that is a slippery slope. And then we could do something like this. So I think we'll definitely be able to connect. It's basically like we only have so many cards, so we have to be careful about what the best placements might be and pushing our luck with which cards might come up next. So let me see if there is one of these that could really be beneficial. Like if I put this here, for example, it builds onto our yellow casino. Oh, and then we want luck icons in our casinos too. Shoot. Like I said, there's quite a bit going on. So if I put this here, it eliminates that road, but I can't really add anything onto it. And that doesn't have a lot of luck icons. So let's see what other casinos have luck icons. Our red casino has 3 luck icons because we have the horseshoe and the 2 diamonds. So if I can get another luck icon there, that would be excellent. We do have this clover here, which might be a little bit difficult to get connected at this point in time without adding a whole bunch more roads. We also have yellow casino here with 2 luck icons out of 4, so that could be good. But again, we have this random road here, which is not great, so it's a little hard to say. I'm thinking again, if I did something like that and then covered with some other cards, we could build off, but then we have this in between too, so that's tricky. Let's see. I mean, I could just continue on and take a penalty for all of these roads, but I would rather not do that if possible. So I think what we're going to do instead is say, okay, this road is done. We're going to work on yellow here. And then let's pull our next card and see what we've got. So I definitely need to connect over here. The cherry and the horseshoe both count as luck icons for blue, and our largest blue casino is only 3. So maybe we can build out this way with that. And then if we were to do something like that, that would add this little road here, which isn't great. So maybe we should, oh, that's facing the wrong way. Just kidding. And we don't have any lemons for setting up potentially another jackpot. We also need another road here. I do have this yellow, which has a luck icon, which brings us to 2 out of 4 potentially. So maybe let's do that. I don't necessarily think we're gonna get all 4 there, but it's worth a shot. I could do this, which would get me another luck icon up here, and it would close the loop. That's a very satisfying loop, I have to say. I would quite like that a lot. So I think we'll get, unfortunately, we only get 1 point per fruit. It would be great if Fruit Loops was in our 3rd slot for 3 points per fruit in our in any loops, but it is what it is. Okay, and then we have our last card here. So we need to figure out what we're doing with that. We now have perfect information as far as the rest of the cards that we're going to be receiving. So the real question is, are we able to do anything particularly fun? We do have 3 out of 4 icons there for our red casino. So it'd be really great to add this on or to add this on to it without potentially creating too many more roads. Let's see. We could also, I'm not sure. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of blue here. So we do have 2 more blue luck icons. But that is really tricky. We did something like that. That could be good for blue. And then it would also ensure that we have a hot streak of 3 blocks and no resorts, which is kind of nice, but it negates this. Oh no, it doesn't, because this has a lemon here. So maybe if we put that there, just making sure I'm not playing off screen. I'm gonna shuffle this or shift this slightly over. Okay. And then we have a couple more. So can we get another blue luck icon connected? This is really the only one we have, but it is worth 3 points. And it doesn't, oh, it negates out this hot streak, which is not great. So maybe we can put it here instead, because this is not a hot streak anyway. And it still adds the same amount of roads. So there's that. And then we have our final card, which we definitely wanted to put up here if possible. I don't know that there's an orientation that we can put it. It's really this or this, and this is too far away. So I think we unfortunately just have to add it like this. Or is there a way for us to add it here? So this would add +1 or 3 points, but it doesn't get us more points in terms of having a like whatchamacallit, a larger casino for yellow, because we already have a 4. But I think it ends up being the same, because instead of -2 for the roads, we're just getting like the 1 more for the roads. So I think we'll just put it here instead to add on to our red casino. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to scoring. I definitely should have had a note card prepared for this. So the first thing that we're going to score is we're gonna look at our largest casino of each different color. So we have our red casino, our blue, and our yellow, and you're just going to get 1 point per each block. So our largest red is definitely this one up here on the right side, We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 points there. And then for blue, I think, unfortunately, our largest one is 4 over here. So we have 4 points for blue. And for yellow, we also have 4 points since we have a couple casinos that are exactly 4. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at our jackpots. So again, we're looking for those slot icons on the same road that are adjacent and that are matching. So we do have this one stretch of 3 diamonds, and it's 1 point per icon. So we have our jackpot bonus, which is 3. Hey, at least we got 1, right? That's definitely a tricky thing to keep track of. The next thing that we're going to do for scoring is we're going to go ahead and take a look at our different scoring conditions. So for Fruit Loops, and then we have Lucky Charms, and then we have Hot Streaks. I just realized that those are both cereals as well. That's pretty cool. Okay, so again, looking at our first slot, it's called our 1 chip scoring. We get 1 point per fruit icon in each road that forms a complete loop. We were only able to make 1 road into a loop, so we're going to go ahead and cut the fruit icons there. So we have, starting on the top left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 points since it's times 1. For our 2 chip scoring, we have Lucky Charms. So we're looking for casinos with at least 4 luck icons. We did a little better here. So we have this blue casino, which has 4 luck icons. Oh wait, no, these cherries are fruit. Oops, just kidding. All right, so no blue casino there. I think then our only one is gonna be, oh, and then the red casino, we're out 1 as well because the cherries are not luck icons, they are fruit. So we're gonna go back slightly and have put that there. So we do have this one yellow casino, which has clovers and a diamond, which are all luck icons, unlike cherries, which that's just in, I don't know if y'all know, but cherries are fruit. So there's that. So we get 2 points for each casino, which we only have the 1, unfortunately. And then we have in our 3 chip slot, Hot Streaks. So we have 3 points per row or column that have at least 3 blocks and no resorts. So this one's going to be a little trickier to go through and score. So here we only have 2. Here's 3, but we have a resort. So we have this one checks out. So we have 1 so far. We have a resort, resort, resort. This one checks out. So we have 2, resort, 3, and these are all 2s. So now we have to go for our rows. So this one, it does not count. We do have 1 here. We have a resort, a resort, a resort, unfortunately. We do have a 5th one down here though, so that's 15 points. Awesome. And we can kind of gauge, like with Hot Streaks out of 12 or, you know, Fruit Loops out of 17, we only got 7, but it really depends on like what chip slot that they're in as well. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and subtract 1 point per road. So going from the top, working our way down, we have 1, we have the big loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh my gosh. So for roads, we have negative 11. So let's go ahead and do some quick math. 8 plus 2 is 10. And then we have 3 plus 7 is also 10. And then we have 15 minus 11 is 4. And we have 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. So we got 32 out of our total that we were trying to reach is 17 plus 4 plus 12, which is going to be 33. Oh, we were just 1 point short. So our final score was 32 points out of 33, if I did math correctly, which means that we were super close to our objective here, but we were just shy. I think had I been a little bit more attentive to the luck versus the fruit icons, we could have made something happen there potentially, like just having 1 more casino with those 4 luck icons could have definitely made us, but unfortunately that was not the case. Yeah, so I mean, all in all, like I said, just my thoughts on this in general. Since this is a preview copy, the general disclaimer of all components and rules are subject to change for the final release. But I will say that out of the opolis games, I'm definitely somebody who's a little bit allergic to games having multiple iterations or so much content. I do really find the opolis games to be quite fun. Sprawlopolis was one of the first ButtonShy games that I got, and I enjoyed it, but the theme really didn't grab me. Similarly with Agropolis. Natureopolis, which came out after that, I did do a solo party video on, and I liked it quite a bit more for the aesthetic and the nature theme. And I have to say that I was excited about a casino-themed opolis because I think that that's a really fun theme, and I wasn't really sure mechanically, how that would translate. But I like the idea of having the slot icons and getting the jackpots. Like, I do think that it's quite fun, trying to get 3 in a row of the same icon. I also think that it adds quite a bit of complexity that the, at least base game, other opolis games didn't quite have. A lot of those I definitely will only play solo, but Casinopolis, it just feels like even just with those icons, there's just a little bit more going on that makes it really viable for multiplayer or for something that feels a little bit chunkier. So this is one that I feel like I do enjoy solo, but I would love to play it at 2 or 3 players, just so I would be able to, I could focus maybe on just hot streaks and make sure we have those luck icons, and somebody else could focus on the slot icons and getting those jackpots, and somebody else could be like a road manager, So I feel like having that extra iconography on there, and that's present on almost, on every single card, I think really adds a new layer of things that not only ties in thematically, but also feels very fun. Aesthetically, it's super clear to see the different casinos. Like, using primary colors, I think makes sense, especially when you have so much information like the roads and like the luck icons. I personally would have loved to have seen something that was maybe a little bit more like flashy or retro-y or a different color palette, but I think as far as playability and accessibility for our colorblind players or things like that, or I do think that this palette does, work really well for reading the cards and just getting an overall visual of the map. There's a lot of good contrast, and it's very easy to assess where your different casinos are. So overall, I would say, if you are an opolis fan, and you like the theming of the casinos and want something a little bit new and interesting, I definitely think, like I said, the slot icons add quite a bit, and they make for some really fun scoring objectives too, like the Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms and Hot Streaks. I think for sure, out of all of the games, the objectives feel the most fun, and that certainly fits with, I think, the overall theming of the game. And if you're just getting into, ButtonShy or opolis games or tile laying games, this is a really great one. Like, it's based on that same overall, standard of from Sprawlopolis way back in the day, which was excellent when it came out in terms of its replayability, and in terms of its mechanics and accessibility for a wide variety of different people who love solo gaming or cooperative gaming. So I think that, you have a really solid one here with a really cool theme. The last thing I will say as far as replayability goes is that I know that there are a lot of people who will play through all the different combinations of the different scoring objectives. And with Casinopolis, like in other ButtonShy games or opolis games, you have your 3 objectives and they score a set amount of points based on the objective itself. But since Casinopolis adds this chip system where you will get 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, even if I play again, but my objectives are shuffled up, even using the same 3 objectives, I now am going to have to like I would have played a lot differently, right? If I get 3 points per fruit for Fruit Loops versus just the 1. So I think that that is a really cool, it's like a very small tweak, but I think it works really well. And it, like I said, just increases the replayability that was already there. I don't know the math tenfold or whatever the appropriate number is if somebody wants to do the math there, but like I said, overall, I've really been enjoying this one. I was a bit skeptical because, like I said, I definitely have a slight allergic reaction to multiple iterations of games being released with slight tweaks, but this one, like I said, overall, I love it. It's really fun, and I've been super close. I haven't quite won yet, but I'm getting closer every time. I went from my last play was 2 and now 1 under, so I'm thinking I'll break even next time. So as always, if you're here live, thanks so much for joining. If you're here watching in the future, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if you have any other games you'd like me to check out, a huge shout out to ButtonShy Games for providing a copy of Casinopolis for us to check out here together. They do great work over there, so feel free to check out the Kickstarter when that comes out. I'll post the link down in the description below. And if you haven't already subscribed and liked the video, it definitely helps out the channel in a huge way and helps this video and these games get out to a wider audience. So thank you from me to you so much as always. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.